For the literacy profile, I am basing off of the student example on Blackboard, Hamad. Hamad is in first grade. He knows two languages, which are Pashto and Urdu. The main themes that I focused on was Hamad's interests, which was playing games, going on the iPad, spending time with friends and family. I've also focused on his use of capitalization and punctuation in his writing. Hamad had quite a few interests, from games to going to the movies, playing with friends. I decided to focus on his interest in games, which played a big part in his writing pieces. From the beginning, Hamad expressed interest in playing games when creating his how-to book in November. He was going through the process of how to play video games. So in this example, he made an attempt to write "I won the game." In January, he wrote a writing review about going to GameStop and how this place had fun games to buy. Leading on to February, he centers around his poetry on the topic of iPads and playing with games on his phones. In his last month, April, he also mentioned his interest in playing games with his friend. Hamad centers around his ideas and thoughts on the topic of games in most of his writing. From his interest in writing, Hamad knows what he wants to write, and it clearly shows that he is focused to write on these topics that he enjoys to write, and it is an example of his literacy identity. Regarding Hamad's use of capitalization in the beginning of the year from October to November, you can see here how Hamad capitalized all letters in his name, whether it is on the name line or even when he wrote in the sentences. This starts to change from December to April as he learns to only capitalize the first letter in his name, as you can see. This demonstrates his progression of even adding his last name at times as well. And he also is aware that you should capitalize the first letter in your last name. There were other uses of capitalization that was found throughout the writing. Hamad is aware of knowing that names do require a capital letter, such as when he was writing and labeling his friends from his first writing piece to the last. So in this one, he capitalized the first letter of his friends' names for Gianni and Ivan. Hamad is also aware that sentences that start with the letter I are also capitalized. So in this one, he wrote, "I had fun." Another point was that not all beginning sentences are capitalized, as you can see in this example. Hamad doesn't capitalize the letter Y in you as he starts a new sentence. There are also times where Hamad capitalizes 2 to 3 letters in the same sentence, such as "the best place" and "next time." This shows that perhaps he wanted to emphasize those words in his writing so that he capitalized those beginning letters. Hamad also shows consistency in how he capitalizes certain letters in words, such as he would capitalize the two D's in the word for dad, but would leave the word mom in lowercase. And these 3 examples were from different writing pieces throughout the year. Hamad also shows capitalization in words that may have been influenced by past writings, such as the word then and the word next. In his how-to book, those words were in capital letters, so he started to do the same and capitalize those words in the middle sentences, which doesn't have to be. For punctuation, Hamad is aware of how to end a sentence, such as putting a period, a question mark, and putting in oral phrases with exclamation points when he wants to show excitement. However, towards the end of the unit, Hamad doesn't focus on punctuation as much as he starts to leave out periods in his writing. And this is shown in the marked up sentences with the red period in between the sentences. These were the themes that I focused on in Hamad's literacy profile. In order to support Hamad's instruction, I would recommend choices for Hamad to express himself in perhaps other languages.